Hello, welcome to another tutorial on Star Practice tool. So this time we will be flying an approach to Bilbao. In fact, one of the two that I was showing in the previous tutorial. But we will use the 737 with the CBOS modification, which is it's an amazing aircraft for free. I really recommend it. Let's take a look on Little Nav map like before to see what we are going to fly. Okay, so we are going to fly one of the approaches from Santander, and I wanted to show a bit more of the scenery around, so we will fly an approach to runway 30, which means that we will fly over the coast from Santander all the way to the city of Bilbao, and then turn around and land on the runway 30. I just chose one of the approaches from Santander to Q. So as you can see, it ends in Sarra, and the ILS 30 has Sarra as one of its main waypoints, so it should be fine. So let's go to the simulator. Well, here we are with the 737. So before worrying about the FMC or anything like that, let's set up the aircraft itself. So we can see here that we have quite a lot of fuel loaded, and this is clearly too much for an approach. We don't want to have a heavy aircraft. So let's go to the weight and balance menu. Usually use like 8,000 pounds or something like that. So for that we use 4,000 on the left tank, 4,000 on the right tank, and always remember to have the central tank empty as long as the left or right tanks are not full. Take a mental note of the total weight that we will have, which is around 111,000 pounds. And this will give us about 1 hour of flight, which should be more than enough. Well, the next step is turning off the central pumps, obviously, since we are not going to use them. Then there is a very important thing. The first one is setting up the flight altitude, because otherwise you will get the fading out effect for lack of pressure inside the cabin. And the other one is turning on the window heat and pro heat. Let's set up the FMC. You can use any airport that you want as an origin. So in this case, I will be using EGLL, which is Heathrow, but it doesn't really make any difference. The important part is the destination airport, which will be Bilbao. Okay, so we can go to the departures and arrivals page. We select arrival. We were saying that we will be landing on runway 30 and using the Santander to Q approach through the Sarra waypoint. So we activate this, execute, and if we go to the legs page, we can see that we have a discontinuity here. We fix it, and that should be okay. So let's take a look at the flight plan on the map. Okay, we have the origin airport, which we don't care about. Then we have the first waypoint of interest to us, which is Santander. It goes east and then overflies the city and the airport, and as we expected, goes southeast. There is a holding pattern here, and then goes back to the airport to land. So it looks okay. Okay, so next step is performance. If you remember, we had 111 for the weight. We can use just anything for reserves and the cost index. And the important bit here is the cruise altitude. Let me show you how to decide on a good cruise altitude. So first we can input anything, just we will guess. So for example, 250. Now if you go to the map, you can use the legs page as before. We need to look where is our top of descent. So we want the top of descent to be in front of us when we start the flight. So this means that in this case we have here the Santander waypoint, and this is the top of descent, which is in front of us, which should be okay. However, it's very, very close to us. It's like 2 miles from us. So I like it to be a bit farther away to give us a little bit of time to set things up. So I will just set the flight level again. So for that, you go to route per finite. And let's try 3000 feet below. Okay, so it's like 10 miles in front of us. So that should be comfortable enough. The thing that we need to do is opening the plugin and setting it up according to our plan. So we will go to Santander 2Q on 22,000 feet, and 270 should be fine. Okay, so before clicking go, we will take off, and there is a difference with the previous tutorial, and the reason to do that in this aircraft is that it doesn't really like being teleported from standing static on the ground to flying. The FMC gets reset, so this is a quick way to do that. It's also a good opportunity to raise the landing gear, so you don't have to worry about that once you are in the air. So we'll just take off and click go. Well, the aircraft is stable, everything is clean, so let's click go. And here we are in Santander. So as before, the aircraft is not actually flying yet, so we are static, as you can see. So let's make the preparations for actually starting to fly. So the first thing will be the autopilot. As before, I like to set up the initial heading here, which is 101. The initial speed will also help with the stabilization of the flight, and of course the altitude, and that should be it. So let's click go again, start on the autopilot, altitude, speed, and heading. As you can see, it wasn't too bad. Let's wait a few moments for the autopilot to stabilize the aircraft. Okay, so it's fine. We should be able to engage the lateral navigation and vertical navigation. Yeah, that's right. So we can close the plugin menu, and now it's pretty much like any other flight. You can see that the top of descent is in front of us as we wanted to. Then the FMC is complaining about the cruise altitude, which is completely fine. We can basically turn the altitude down in preparation for the descent, and that's it. Hope it wasn't too hard. So I will let you with the views of the approach. Hope you enjoy. As before, ask any questions if you want to. If you have any tips on how to do this in a better way or more easily, please comment. So enjoy. See you next time. Bye bye.
Ikusten da zure kareta oraien tartetik, ikertzen ditut eta zure muztupilak argiki, xarmangarria zara iegorria, very nice. Lortzen jendeak maitatzea lenda biziz, hartzen zure pentsaerak zerrenda principal, komunikatzen dizkiguzu mila sekreto. Ez direla ibaiak, ez mendiak, ez arroka handiak, irudi gaituzu zerurik ez dugula itxoa. Ikusten da zure kareta orai ez artetik, ikertzen ditut eta zure musika